What's going on, YouTube? Today is day number 18 of the $1,000 account challenge, and today we are up $132 in the account, or 7.82% of the total portfolio balance. You know that we ended the week last week on a red day. I lost about 5% of the portfolio, about $100 loss, but today we made all of that money back, plus some on top, so we are back to green and back into the challenge, moving it forward. If you don't know, by the way, my name is Gates. I'm taking $1,000. I'm day trading options to see how far we can grow this account. Today, straight off of the day trade watch list, we took 2 trades on AMD long. Now, I had posted yesterday my top stock pick video revealing my full watch list, and in that video, I talk about 2 setups. One being NVIDIA, that being the A++++ setup that I really liked and identified. So if you haven't seen that video yet, or what I think is an A+++ setup, go watch my top stock pick video from 1/7/2024. I talk about NVIDIA. Then my other setup that I posted was on AMD. Now today I made the decision in the challenge account to trade AMD because NVIDIA's contracts are a bit more expensive, right? And AMD for us in this account with where our balance is right now is much more affordable. So my thinking was, if AMD moves in sympathy with NVIDIA, which usually it does, and NVIDIA is an A+++ setup, then if NVIDIA goes, AMD will go today as well. So I knew kind of where I wanted to place my trades before the day even started if we got the move that I was looking for on NVIDIA. Sure enough, we do get that move on NVIDIA, break of 500, and the stock runs $15 up to highs of 515 into new all-time highs. And check out AMD with this sympathy move, right? Just following suit right all the way up. So that's why we decided to place our trades on AMD instead of NVIDIA. And that is why I had so much confidence to kind of scale up a little bit in my sizing with the AMD trades that we took. So let's break it down. Today was a typed alert day, which means that we were not trading live. All of the alerts came out here in the alert room, and it's all time-stamped for you. So shortly after the open, 2 minutes after the open, I tell you I loaded 2 contracts, AMD long and Meta long, because both of those at that time were pressing above the long trigger. So AMD, I told you AMD long, right? Looking for the break above $141. Again, this is just coming straight off that day trade watch list. AMD long above 141. So as AMD's pressing above that level, we are prepping to take the position long. No position yet, we're just prepping to take it long. And then I tell you, no position yet, waiting for a dip entry. We want to see this hold the trigger as a support on any sort of pullback down. And then at 9:34 a.m., I took the entry long. So we get the 1, 2, 3, 4 candles up, the pullback candle on the 5th minute here, and I go long on the dip down to this price point. Now, immediately I'm green. I'm up about 15% right away. But I don't take my profits on this because, for one, I'm looking for a larger move, and 2, I wanted to wait and see if AMD would give us that big run that we were expecting. That's kind of dialing it back to my confidence in the trade, given what I was seeing there on NVIDIA. So AMD took entry long, timestamp. I give you the contracts, I give you the fill price, I give you the stop loss at 141, and then again right away up 15%. Not taking my profits there. It's just holding, waiting, and watching. Then I alert NVIDIA, worth watching for a move up over the $500 hold number. AMD now up 15% again, and now up 20%. So it's just trade management. And that's at 9:40 a.m. So we get the consolidation. It does pull back, consolidates a little bit, holds our entry level area as support, never dips down to 141, so we're never panicking really in this trade. We get the run up into the high of day, 9:40 a.m., take the profits at the high of day for a 20% gain. Now, we're not done with it, right? And the reason why we're not done with it is because it's still pushing, it's confirming for us, and NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA, I can't stress the importance of that, is pushing as well. That being our sector leader, our sympathy trade idea. So AMD high of day there, and then I tell you I'm looking for the re-entry, right? AMD took re-entry at 9:45 a.m. So that's as this is starting to push up. Now normally I like to purchase on the red candles, on the dip down. So normally I would like to enter on a candle like this, but what I was looking for here was, this is your previous high of day, right? This is your point of resistance at this time based on the chart. So if AMD is to continue up, this prior resistance on any sort of pullback should hold as support. So I was looking for this dip down to $142 over here, and we don't get it. So we start to see some green here, and that's why I took the entry here where I did, because I did not want to miss the move up. I didn't know that it was going to dip down to 142, otherwise I would have stayed more patient. But I wanted to get in on this trade, right? I didn't want to miss the move up even further. So we do get the start of this move here. We're green right away. We get the high of day move. Not enough there to take our profits on. We're not up 10% or anything at that time. And then it pulls all the way back. Then we're down almost 10%, or I think we were right at 10%. And I tell you, when I took my entry, my stop loss is 142. So my fill price, I give you the contracts, my stop loss is 142. Now you might ask, well, Gates, this candle dipped below 142. Why did you not close it out there? Two reasons. Number one, I set mental stop losses for this exact reason. I don't want to be wicked out on a trade. Number two, it was just a bigger drop down to 142, and it barely closed. This candle barely closed before 142, below 142, before the next candle got bought right back up. So it was like a slight panic mode, but then the next candle tells us, hey, it's actually holding a support, and then we're back to chilling, right? So I tell you, and I remind you, like, I'm very close to closing it, but I'm setting mental stops. So I'm preparing myself to close the position, but I don't actually pull the trigger on closing it. AMD down about 10% here on the second entry. If 142 fails to hold, consider closing. So I'm reminding you of the stop loss here. Otherwise, we're fine in this position for now. And that was at 9:49 a.m. So as we're getting the bounce back up, that's what I'm telling you, down about 10%. If it fails to hold, we'll cut it out and, move on from there. And then I remind you again, whatever you do, do not give back all your profits from the first trade if this one doesn't work. I'm still in and I'm still holding. Then we get the high of day move, now up 10%. I told you could take your profits or hold if you want, but I took my profits. And then I scaled out of this trade because I was also looking for a higher run. So we get the run up to the high of day here. And I did take some of my profits off at 10%. Now, I think the reason why I did this was because we were just down 10%, and I wanted to lock something in so that I was scaling off some of my risk that I had while also, securing profits on the way up. Then we get the consolidation phase. The rest of it's just trade management, the run up higher into the high of day. This is around 10:05 a.m., and we hit our 20%. So AMD now up 20%. Give you the contracts. Again, the entry price, the exit price. I closed out fully right there. And that was it. Those are the only two trades that I needed. I said, calling in a morning team, in all honesty, that's the only trades that we needed. No reason to continue to push the envelope here, right? Well done. We got 20% on AMD twice, and I know a few of you bagged on NVIDIA, and I was even mentioning Meta at the time, watchlist rule 4, which also worked. But I want to zoom out here and show you the entirety of this move. I mean, check this out. From 141, right, all the way up to the highs now of 144.5. It looks like this. So that would be the entirety of the move. What we capitalized on was from here. This was our first entry up to our sell, but we also caught this entry up to this sell, up to this sell. So this is the entirety of the move, and this is how much of the move we actually capitalized on. So over half of that move we were able to profit on, which is incredible. Very rarely as a retail trader will you catch the exact move, the entirety of a move, from the exact bottom all the way up to the exact top. So to catch the majority of this move, and I think we only left off, at this time maybe just under $1. Leaving off just under $1 on a move that moved, $3.50 is fantastic. We did extremely well. And I also want to look at my risk and reward here for you. So where we took the first entry at, our stop loss being 141, the amount of risk assumed down to that price point from here to here looks like that versus the amount of reward at this time up to the high of day. But we were looking for the break of the high of day. But let's just say high of day looks like that. So our amount of reward on the first trade looks like this. The amount of risk assumed looks like that. So check that out. Double the amount of reward versus the amount of risk assumed. And then for the second trade, the amount of risk down to, let's just say down to 142 versus the amount of potential reward up to the high of day. But then, really looking through the high of day for the 20%. But let's just say up to the high of day, right? To keep it to keep it fair. So amount of reward assumed, amount of risk assumed. I mean, just take a look at the sizes of those candles, right? The reward amount here, much larger than the amount of risk. And this is what we love to do with our entries. I mean, this is the way that you want to trade. Small amount of risk, high amount of potential reward. Okay, I hope the video's helped you out. Press that like button for me if it has. That is the best way to support this type of work that I do. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I post pretty good content every single day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow when we continue the $1,000 account challenge. Take care, cheers, and enjoy the rest of your day.